let's check out the brand new Barnes & Noble in Paramus, New Jersey. They had their grand opening at 8 a.m. on Friday, November 24th, and I was there an hour later at 9 a.m. Let's take a walk through the store. I'm filming this on an iPhone, so if it's a bit wobbly and wonky, that's why I was using the wide angle lens. So the first thing that struck me when walking into this store was how different it was from the previous store that was in Paramus, and how different it was from any other Barnes & Noble that I've ever been in. They did not have the typical shelves that you normally think of when you're in a bookstore or a library, just like rows and rows of shelves. Instead, everything was grouped along walls and in kind of like separate rooms or alcoves, or I thought they were kind of like nooks. You know, Barnes & Noble is known for their nook reader, and the way the store was laid out, each section kind of had its own nook by book genre. So here we are near the front of the store, and they had a big entertainment section with music and movies, and this is all vinyl records along the wall. And then on this wall, it was all DVD and Blu-ray. And the previous Barnes & Noble had an upstairs room with all of the records and movies and DVDs and stuff. So this is right near the entrance. They also have their music books right here. So these are some really nice big coffee table books. Then they have a whole section of entertainment-related books. And they also have items and gifts interspersed throughout the store. And I really thought that was very nice also. So depending on what section you were in, they had items relating to that section. There was so much to look at. It was like you didn't even know where to look first. I definitely have to go back and take another look around, because as I'm watching this video now, I'm like, oh, I didn't see that, and I didn't see that. There's a wall of favorites. This was all related to travel. And there were quite a lot of people there for the grand opening. It felt like there were a lot more people than it seems like in this video. I mean, there was a lot of people. So this is the new cafe. This is the new seating area, nice big seating area. And then this is the cafe. I actually feel like they could put more chairs and tables in the big seating area because everything is kind of spread out. But maybe in the future, that's something that they'll do. The line was pretty long for this cafe, so I really wanted a beverage, but I did not want to wait on that line, so I decided to walk around the store and then come back. I also didn't want to be really obnoxious with the camera, so I tried to hold it low and not put it in anyone's faces. I like that they had chairs throughout the store. This is the cookbook section. It's kind of like a cookbook room, but I like to think of it as the cookbook nook. Lots and lots of cookbooks. And the store in general was bright and light, but it wasn't overwhelmingly bright and light like the Hackensack store is. It actually still felt cozy. So this is their health and wellness wall. And I also really liked the way that the book categories kind of flowed into each other. Then we go to crafts and hobbies and home and garden. It really made a lot of sense when you're walking through the store how like one genre led into the other genre. That is art and photography. And I wonder if these shelves are modular, like if they can be moved around a lot. I've heard some of the Barnes & Noble stores do have modular shelves. So I don't know if these are modular. And then they had this really big wall of new and noteworthy books. And I just thought that was a really nice shot just to see the entire curved wall there. I mean, you would never know this store was a Big Lots prior to Barnes & Noble moving in. And prior to Big Lots, it was a Toys R Us. I mean, it has been totally redone. And I think Barnes & Nobles did an excellent job with designing this store. I mean, whoever came up with the design and the floor plan I really think that they considered their customers, and they really did a really great job with respect to respecting their customers. So there's a big manga wall. It said manga and light novels, and then it flows to sci-fi and fantasy. And there were tables with books on them throughout the store also. Big graphic novel wall. I think that they could definitely use some more seating in the store. Like in a lot of these little nooks, there should definitely be at least 1 or 2 seats. Because there were some times when, there's a big Harry Potter wall right there. All the Harry Potter stuff. And then it leads you down into the young adult and the children's section. And there's a really big young adult and children's area in the store, which is great. So right here we come to the young readers. Lots of kids' books. And they also had a cashier here in the kids area. And then there was another cashier like in the middle of the store, as well as cashiers near the front of the store. So I also like the fact that you didn't have to go to the front of the store to pay. Like you could pay where the various cashiers were, which is great. This is still the kids area. They had some toys and games interspersed throughout. So much to look at. And being there, it really felt more crowded than it looks in this video. It could just be because of the wide angle lens that I used. We're still in the kids section. They had like a nice area with like different kind of Christmas gifts, non-book items that fit perfectly in that section. The entire store was so well curated. We have a bunch of picture books in this area. More stuffed animals. We go to coloring books, activity books, beginning readers. And then this is an entire wall of Legos. This is the toys and games section. And they had lots and lots of Legos. I don't think I've ever seen such elaborate Lego kits before. Some of these kits you would never know that they're actually Legos. Like if someone made something with one of these kits. I'm not really in the Legos world much, so it was really interesting to look and see some of these kits, like the old Atari video system. That was really cool. And then along the back you have reference books, science books, nature books, sports. Again, I think it's just a really nice flow from category to category, and there's more gift items or games and puzzles, and that's the next section that it flows into. It goes from toys and games to games and puzzles. Lots of really cool games to look at and to choose from. And they also have plenty of card games. I think this store definitely has more toys, games, and puzzles than the last Barnes & Nobles in Paramus. And then they have this big event space right in the middle here where they were having some authors sign books. So I really like that. The other store in Paramus had a book signing area upstairs. It was a bigger area, but it was completely separate. And then here they have puzzles. Lots and lots of puzzles, and I'm not a puzzles person, but they had some really nice puzzles. I was looking at them going, wow, that's a really nice puzzle. I wonder if I should get it, but then I was like, I don't really have time to do puzzles. So here's more games and puzzles, and then it goes into self-transformation. And as you could see, they're set up like little rooms, or I like to think of them as little nooks. They really could use like a bench in this area or something to sit on, because sometimes you're looking through books, you want to get a good idea of what's in a book before you purchase it. Look at the Zoltar, the mini Zoltar. And I found that I would pick up a book off of the shelf and then I would go to some of the event seating and sit down there to look through the book to see if it was something that I wanted to purchase or purchase for someone. And then here we came to the book annex section, which was a lot of, discounted books, bargain books. I am looking forward to them putting more used books into this bookstore. The other Barnes & Noble in Paramus had a really, really nice room in the back that was all used books. I used to love that section of the store. So I'm hoping that they save some of the shelves in this store for used books also. Here's the big history section, world history. And it's really nice that you can look at the books and you're not, confined to a typical narrow aisle in a bookstore. So it makes that experience more enjoyable. Then these were all kits, I guess like gift kits or kits for kids, craft kits, that kind of stuff. So they have that all nicely spread out over here. And that's something that would have been in the back book annex room at the prior location, along with the used books. So if these shelves are indeed modular, it'll be interesting to see, how they get moved around as the store, progresses. And they still had some of the old bookcases from the prior location. And here's more of the discounted books. So this is like their discount section. This is in one of the back corners of the store. And then these look like some of the cabinets from the prior location that they had in the book annex with like first editions and old valuable books in them. So much to look at. And then here we are in drama, poetry, and classics. I think they keep their book inventory pretty tight. Like they don't have a lot of copies of any one book unless it's very popular or on the bestsellers list. And also with this store format, they really could spread out their inventory and the store looks really full and not empty, if that makes any sense. So this is the big magazine section that they had. It's a nice size magazine section. I don't think it's as big as the magazine section in the previous store, but it's still a good amount. Actually, I know it's not as big as the magazine section in the previous store because I think there were some magazines that I used to like to look at in the previous store that I did not see there. But it could just be that I was not spending enough time looking around. I eventually made it to the cafe and I ordered a beverage, and these were all of the beverages in line before mine was to be made. So yeah, they were very busy that day. And since I left my house early before eating any breakfast, I also ordered one of their breakfast sandwiches. It was like sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant. And it was typical Barnes & Noble's or Starbucks food. They just throw it in a microwave or a toaster oven and then they heat it up, and that was that. And so this is what the croissant sandwich looked like. It was really good because by now I had spent 2 hours in the store and I was really, really hungry. And if you're familiar with the Paramus area, this new store is on Route 17 North, and it's right across from Wendy's, which is in a shopping center near a Burlington and a Home Goods, just to give you a little idea of where this new store is located. Thanks for watching, and thanks for coming with me.